Hey, want to skip those ads and get early access and bonus episodes of all Banana for Scale shows? Hop on over to truestory.fm/join and discover all the cool perks that come with being a member of the Banana for Scale family. Coming up on The Devil's Details, damn, this red dragon is fine. Like Ralph Fiennes, because he's in the movie. Revelation chapter 12. Why did you tell lies, Mr. Lowndes?
I don't want to look. I don't want to look.
Mr. Lowndes, you said you would look at my podcast.
No, I won't look. I'll give you the stars. I'll give you the stars.
Look, this is the bonus material. Do you see?
I see.
This is the Mrs. Doubtfire joke. Do you see?
No, that's the worst part.
Good morning, Star, and welcome to another episode of The Devil's Details, a show where we dig up, decipher, dissect, and deconstruct the many forms of the devil. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Keenan Diaz.
And we're just two lost souls hitchhiking down the highway to hell, and we have made it to the Great Red Dragon, folks. We are here. And all I could think of all week was that movie. You know, that movie, Raccoonin. No. That movie, Red Dragon, which is the first book in the Hannibal Lecter trilogy.
That's right.
But yeah, oddly, it came out third or second?
Third.
Third, okay.
They made Manhunter based on Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Then they made Silence of the Lambs, and then they made Red Dragon.
When did Hannibal come out?
Oh, you're right.
I wasn't even thinking of Manhunter.
I forgot about Hannibal. So it's the fourth movie. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it is the fourth. So I was wrong.
We were both
every
wrong.
possible way you could think of. Yeah.
Socrates. You're both wrong.
But that was the first movie that I ever saw Ralph Fiennes in. And I was totally convinced that he was an American actor because of his accent.
Were you convinced that he was a great red dragon?
You know what? There were times when I was like, yeah, you know what? You're feeling yourself. And then there were other times when I was like, okay, you're feeling yourself. I don't want to watch this. But no, I feel like that movie is underappreciated.
I think so too. Yeah. And I think about it a whole lot. And then, as we've been working in Revelation, I've been, secretly waiting for this moment, this chapter, because we get to talk about the movie Red Dragon.
Yes. Okay, we are on the same page.
Yes.
Which is chapter 12 of Revelation. But no, I was waiting for this. I want to also talk about the Blake paintings as well, because those, this is the chapter that those paintings are about.
Right.
So we'll talk about that too. But like before any of that, let's actually just jump in to chapter 12 of Revelation. Okay, here we go. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God, and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought, and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabiters of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman, which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Whew. It is, if we were confused as to who this red dragon was in the beginning of all of this, I think we are pretty sure now.
Well, speak for yourself.
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it says who is called the devil and Satan.
Yeah, I had trouble with some comma splices there that made me think potentially that we had the dragon who was the devil.
Let's eat grandma. Let's eat, grandma.
Yes. So I was
so
like,
you're saying, okay, so you're reading it's like
two people.
Okay, wait. Okay, this is verse 9. Let me read it again. Right? And the great dragon was cast out. That old serpent called the devil. And Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
Yes, that is how I read
meanwhile,
it. Yes.
I never. Okay. Because I was reading it, and I guess a lot of people were reading. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. But you're okay.
So I had trouble until I went to the no. Then I saw that other people said no, that's all the same person. I was like, are we sure? So then, as I've been doing on some of these, I've been reading the King James, the plain English, and the literal translation of it. And in the literal translation, it has called quote the devil and quote Satan, which is how it's. I imagine that's what's supposed to be in the Greek. So I think it's clear in the Greek. It's unclear to me. It's at least weirdly spliced in the King James. But where, in American history has weird comma splices ever given us any trouble? It's like Second Amendment, where they're just random commas put in. So if you don't know that in other countries, we have a Second Amendment which guarantees the right to bear arms.
I think everybody outside of America knows our connection with Amendment number 2.
But it is a nonsensical sentence the way that it's written. It doesn't. Yeah. It's grammatically unreadable the way it's written, and that's part of the reason why we have all of our problems in America with gun control. It's like even people on either side of it can't agree what it actually says because the sentence is not written correctly.
Yeah. But I'm also going to go out there and say, much like the Bible as well, they fucking know. They just want to. They just want to be dicks.
I don't know. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed. That is none of those. That's 3 clauses that don't add up to a sentence. So, anyways, I thought that was what's going on here, but I've been convinced now. We are saying that the dragon is Satan, is
the devil. Is that
is
serpent.
the serpent. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, great. Yeah. So John here at the end of the Bible puts it all together and says those are all the same person.
Right. So we were talking about Thomas Aquinas and St. Augustine talking about it was like, oh yeah, the serpent is the devil, right? So we can't even attribute them as the origins of that if we're looking at Revelation.
I see. Yeah, right. So John will beat them to the punch. 90 years after Christ, right?
Yeah. Unless John is just referring to the like serpent as another word for dragon, because I've heard that as well.
Oh, geez, I hadn't thought of that. Now
it's like, because dragon is like you, because Smaug is called a worm, right? Like that old worm, but like WYRM or whatever, right? But did that come from here?
But why would that mean that old serpent? I think that's pretty clear, right? That we're referencing a serpent in the Bible. Where else is there a serpent in the Bible?
True. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, it's according to John, right? It's all the same guy, right? Yeah.
And again, right at the end again, I'm joking because this was not written specifically to be the last book of the Bible, but that's how we read it, right? We see that's at the end, and we say, okay, before you all leave, let me tell you all, the dragon was the serpent was the devil was the Satan.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah. But no, this is, I think this is it. This is the chapter, Keenan, that we've been waiting for, for multiple reasons, right? Not just that great movie. But yeah, this is one of the most symbolically rich and debated chapters in Revelation, right? I want to talk about first this woman clothed with the sun.
Right.
So John sees a, quote, great wonder in heaven, right? A woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, a crown of 7 stars on her head. She's pregnant and in labor, crying out in pain. So, in popular interpretation, there are 2 main views for who this woman represents. First, and I think the one that all of us Keenan, before doing research, like who did you think this was?
Just some woman.
Really? Okay.
This never occurred to me that it would be the woman you're going to say. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Because why not just say that here?
Hey, yeah.
Why is everything got to be a riddle?
You gave the dragon 3, like you were explicit with the dragon.
Right.
It's like who is that ancient serpent? Who is the devil? Who is Satan?
Right.
And the woman clothed in the sun, who is the Virgin Mary, who is the Madonna. Why not just say that?
Right. Yeah,
John?
That had not occurred to me.
That is the first popular interpretation that this is the Virgin Mary. She gives birth to a male child who will, quote, rule all nations with a rod of iron, right? Clearly, Jesus quoting Psalm 2, verse 9. The woman clothed with the sun, moon, and stars represents Mary's, glory and, and her role as, mother of the Messiah, right? Catholic interpreters especially favor this view, seeing it showing Mary's exalted status, right? The 12 stars representing maybe the 12 apostles or the 12 tribes of Israel. Right?
Yes, I've also seen it as the 12 signs of the zodiac that she's bringing down from the firmament.
Oh, that's interesting. It's a little pagan-y, but
yeah. So when I was a kid, I was raised. I hesitate to say I was raised Catholic. I don't remember having a lot of religious faith as a child at all. But I did go to the Catholic Church. That's the church that I grew up in. And so it didn't really occur to me that our veneration of the Virgin Mary was unique to Catholicism.
Same, yeah.
I didn't. You sort of take that for granted, right?
Yeah, it's like, of course, it's the Holy Family, right?
Right. Yeah. So then, when I was growing up and I had LDS friends, Mormon friends, I heard them joking amongst each other about people worshiping Mary as if she was God, and I was like, oh, I had not thought of that ever.
Yeah. I mean, but like, I don't know. I remember being told that as well. And I was like, well, no, she's obviously not God. Like,
right. That's not what we're doing. We're not worshiping her as God. But we just pray to her for our sins and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do have statues and
But I never said a Hail Mary except for when I had my first what's that thing you go in the closet with the with the priest and he
that
tells
thing
you
where you go in the closet with the priest.
No, he tells you to say Hail Marys.
Yes.
The first
confession. Right.
That was my first and last confession. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So I never really prayed to the Virgin Mary, but yes. So yeah. If you weren't raised Catholic, you might see that as very strange. Is my point. Right.
And me on the other end of the spectrum, I was like that's one of those prayers that has been like tattooed onto the surface of my brain. Like I can say that in my sleep. That's like, in a car crash, I can say it before I actually hit the car. It's like, like just super fast.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, Virgin Mary is one interpretation. The other one, and I had never heard of this, is Israel. So the woman represents the nation of Israel, God's chosen people from whom the Messiah came. The 12 stars definitely represent the 12 tribes in that case. The imagery sort of echoes Joseph's dream in Genesis chapter 37, verse 9, where the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed to him, right, representing his parents and brothers. So Israel did travail through history to bring forth the Messiah. So there you go.
And you're not going to sing that? Joseph's dream, isn't that one of the songs?
I dreamed I saw 11 stars, the sun, the moon, and sky, bowing down before my star. It made me wonder why. Except when Donny Osmond is doing it, and he says, "Wonder why." And I'm like, Donny, there's no H in wonder.
In wonder, yeah.
There's an H in Y.
Right.
But why are you doing it with wonder? Wonder why?
He's a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah, he is. He's a little bit, and the other brothers are a little bit country, and that's the...
Yeah, and the other 10 brothers are a little bit nation of Israel.
There you go. The other 10? You mean the other 11?
No, Jake. No, Donnie.
Donnie's not in it. You mean Joseph?
Whoever. Donnie and Marie. And then the other 10. That's 12. Donnie plus Marie plus 10 is 12.
No, it's 12 tribes.
Yeah. Joseph is one of the tribes.
Joseph. Yeah, 12 minus 1
is 11.
Is 11. You said 10.
Because one of them is a little bit country and one of them is a little bit rock and roll, and the other 10 are a little bit nation of Israel.
Oh, I see. You were subtracting 2. Okay. It's like, who's this other one? Who's this?
Whoever's country.
Okay.
A little bit.
Benjamin. There we go. No. Reuben, because he sings One More Angel in Heaven.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There we go.
It's a country song I've ever heard.
Father, we've something to tell you. Right? Yeah. Yep. All right. Anyway, so it's Israel. Yeah. So most Protestant interpreters favor the Israel view since the woman continues to exist and be persecuted after giving birth, right? So she can't just be Mary personally.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah. So she represents the faithful remnant of Israel or the people of God.
The reason I still go back to she's neither of those for those, I know we'll get into the scholarly interpretation of them. Is the persecution part, like none of that is in the story of Mary.
Right.
It's not about her paining to give birth. That's in nowhere there. I mean, I guess if you were thinking about it, that might happen. But I think the picture of the Bible, the nativity scene, is very much like all of the drama is leading up to it. And then once she's in the manger, it's a very peaceful sort of scene, right?
Yeah.
So none of that matches up. And then I don't know. It feels strange to me that we represent Israel in all of these masculine ways before, and now we're saying Israel is this woman personified. Like
right.
That doesn't. That seems to be a left turn.
Now that I think about it, that is a little bit different from how we had been interpreting Israel before.
As brothers or rivers or lands or stars is fine. Yeah, but why is this woman the accumulation of those things?
Right. Yeah. But believe it or not, folks, we're not here to talk about the woman clothed with the sun. We are here. We have done, what is it now? More than 12 chapters on more than 12 episodes on Revelation, because we had to talk about the rapture and whatnot, right? But we have finally come to the great red dragon, right? Another sign appears, a quote, great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head, right? End quote. This dragon is explicitly identified later as, quote, that old serpent called the devil. Meanwhile, in Satan, called the devil and Satan, right?
I misspoke. I'm sure there are other literal interpretations where it says the devil in quotes and quotes Satan, but the one that I have pulled up right here at studylight.org says, quote, the devil and quote, the adversary.
Ah, okay. So like literally translating Satan.
Right. The Satan from Job. Right.
Yeah. Right. So this is the capital E enemy, the capital S Satan, right? The capital A adversary, the capital D deceiver. That's why he has 7 heads.
That's right. The capital S serpent.
Yep. Is that? Yeah. This is all the names of all the different heads. Right? Yeah. Okay. And I mean, this is the first time that we are getting a physical description of Satan.
Right.
Of the devil. Because, and the devil came to, not counting the snake, right?
Right.
But even the snake, it was and it was a serpent. And it doesn't say anything, and the serpent was green and he was dead and he had no legs or he had legs,
Right.
It just there's no, and the devil came to him in the desert and he, had wings and horns. It never says anything, right?
What color he is.
What color.
Yeah, right. How many heads he has.
How tall he was. Was he taller? Was he shorter than Jesus? What's the,
Right. How many crowns he wore in the desert. We don't have that.
Right. And God said to the Satan, have you considered my servant Job? Satan, who, is looking pretty red today, so we don't even get a description of the angel Satan, the Satan in Job.
Right, yeah.
Right?
And I suppose that we understand he is red because he's from hell. I think that's how we would do it today.
I think it's fire equals red.
Yes. Yeah. So originally it's not that he is red, but in the Greek I believe he's fire colored. Right.
Yeah.
So but again, we haven't gotten a glimpse in the Bible of what hell is like. Is it abyss like we had before? It's certainly not Dante like, right? It's not, and it's not Hades like, right? So now that might be where we start to get some of those ideas that hell is red and fiery because now we see the Satan, the devil, and he is fire colored.
Right, and he is a dragon, and dragons are associated with fire and everything.
Right.
Yeah, except for this one, which breathes water, but
right.
Yeah. And then dragon. Okay, let's talk about that. Dragon. You would think that.
I'm sorry, dragon D's nuts. I forgot.
Jeez.
I'm off a little bit. Yeah.
Before we started, we were like, there was something, I didn't write it down. What was it?
What was it?
And we just had to, we were like, it doesn't matter. Let's just record. And I think we finally found it. Yeah. But okay, this description, like when I say dragon, Keenan, like what picture pops up in your brain?
I guess I'm thinking of like St. George fighting the dragon, you know? So he's got like the little arms at the front, like a Tyrannosaurus or something, right? And he's got the big bottom and he's got two big wings and like a medieval type English dragon.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing it now.
I don't see like a Chinese dragon.
No,
right.
I don't see that. I'm seeing. So you're seeing like more of like a schmaug, like a
Sure.
Yeah.
He's a lizard with wings of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I see. Or like sometimes like a dog face or something. I'm seeing, right? Yeah.
He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex
with wings.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated by the fact that this is the first description of the devil, but we, like when I say the devil, what image comes to your mind?
He has hooves. He's got big bat wings. He's red. He's got little horns, maybe a goatee. He's got no clothes on, but some little black hot pants. Real buff guy.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe a snake tongue.
Sure. Like a humanoid with like horns and hooves and wings and such, right? So like our Mephistopheles, like our Satan in Milton. Our Satan in Milton is kind of like looking like our Blake painting, actually.
Right.
But yeah, no, like you would think, if we're talking about like primary and secondary sources, you would think that if this one is in the Bible and this is the first and only like physical description of Satan, then we would be looking at like a bunch of smaugs in paintings and stuff.
Right.
So I'm just fascinated by like even Blake, when he recreated this chapter of Revelation, his dragon doesn't look like a dragon.
Right.
His dragon looks like I would imagine Satan looks like.
It's interesting when it says it's a dragon and then he talks about his heads and stuff. I still see him only as with one head. I refuses to compute that he is a seven-headed dragon.
Okay, you do that too. See, like whenever I'm reading a book and I have like an image of like probably the celebrity from the movie or whatever, right? Like, you know, like I think I don't think Anthony Hopkins is how Hannibal Lecter looks. I think actually Hannibal Lecter is supposed to have like red eyes or something.
Well, that's dumb.
Yes, that is.
No, it's fine for a book, obviously. You couldn't do that in a movie, right?
But it's not. It's like, because humans don't have red eyes. Like, so I'm like, no, you know, like he just looks like Anthony Hopkins, right? and Voldemort, like he's supposed to like be all snake looking, but I'm like, no, he looks like Ralph Fiennes.
He's a dude.
Yeah. Right. And the devil, every other mention of him in the Bible, he looks like my devil, which actually that kind of changes too. That's like all over the place. But when he is the great red dragon, he is a great red smaug guy with one head.
Right.
And then I read the sentence, 7 heads and 10 horns. And it's just like a little like millisecond flash where I try to picture that and I'm like, nah. And then back to smaug.
Yep, that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's reader mediation, baby.
Is that what it's called?
Mediation, yeah, I think. It's the meaning is filtered through you as a medium.
Yeah, there you go. Right. But yeah, this dragon right here has got a tail. And it's not the kind of like cute, kind of like spindly, you know, one with the little triangle at the end.
Right.
It's a big ass dragon tail. Right. That he sweeps a third of the stars from heaven with and casts them to earth. Right. Now, popular interpretation sees this as Satan's original rebellion when he led a third of the angels to rebel against God and they were cast out of heaven.
Right.
These fallen angels become demons. Right. And just ask our buddy Thomas Aquinas or Hippo. One of them. Ask one of them.
Right. But you're saying become, but I think this is future tense, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's describing something that's happened in the past, right?
Okay. This is my question about this chapter.
Great. Okay, good. Is this prophecy, right?
Yeah. Is this part of the apocalypse?
Right.
Or is John still in that like flashback mode? Because remember, like Jesus was like, hey, come up hither and I need to show you something, right? Come and see. Like, is he seeing this is how it all began and the dragon was cast out of heaven and this already all happened? Or is this like gonna happen again?
Right.
and we're going to see, it's like, oh, there's the four horsemen. Oh, and there's Abaddon. And then he turns around. He's like, actually, it's Apollyon. And I was like, oh, sorry.
Right. But here's our trumpets and our seals. And the Lamb has been crucified. And then the war in heaven happens. And
right.
Right.
And it's like, oh, what's this? A great red dragon and a woman clothed with the sun.
Right.
Is that another spectacle that we're witnessing, or is that something that John is just seeing, right? Or is it something that John is being revealed to John that happened in the past?
Right.
Okay. All right. I asked you. I thought you would have an answer.
Well, if that's the war in heaven, the battle of heaven, and Satan's fall, that happens before Christ, if I have my chronology in order.
Right. According to John Milton, yes.
Well, I mean, according to the Bible, right? I mean, this is, I guess the battle of heaven is only Miltonian, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying, right? So John of Patmos is saying that it happens after the lamb is slaughtered. If the lamb is Jesus and et cetera, then... Yeah. I don't know.
See, it's so weird going back to the beginning here, folks, because we've, popularly, we've already decided, there was a great battle in heaven, and Lucifer was cast down to hell, not to earth, and became the devil, became Satan. And then, we got folks like John Milton kind of taking that up and making the Disney version of that and being like, yeah, that's exactly, how it happened. And so we just assume, this is like a flashback. But all of that stuff, all of that assumption stuff came from, again, this is a primary source. Right. So this came before Milton. This came, before all of that. And so what's happening is, are we misinterpreting this as this came before?
Right.
And this helped us in the whole Lucifer story, is this chapter right here at the end of the Bible. Or is he saying this is part of the end times? Right. And I guess still nobody knows, but it's already people have already chosen their sides,
right? And
it has created a whole bunch of cool fiction and imagery for the devil.
Yeah, great paintings.
Yeah, great paintings, great poetry, all that stuff. Yeah, but yeah, so the dragon stands before the woman, ready to devour her child as soon as it's born. Popularly, this is thought to represent Satan's attempts to destroy Jesus. So you got Herod's slaughter of the innocents, right? The temptations in the wilderness, and ultimately the crucifixion, right? So Satan tried to prevent the Messiah's mission from the very beginning. I don't think we can blame him for the crucifixion, though.
Well, but I think that's what a lot of, we can't blame it for Herod, either. But I think that's what people are trying to do, is Satan if Satan becomes the adversary, capital A, to everything, then you would see him having a hand in Pilate and in Herod and everyone.
Sure. Yeah. Kind of whispering. And I've seen also it's oh yeah, he was present at the Last Supper and he was whispering in Judas's ear. I was like, okay.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Right. But that makes sense. If you're trying to, find a counterpoint to God everywhere, then yeah, I mean, that's the way that people talk about the Satan today, right? Satan is in every bad thing that you do, that I do personally, right? That's Satan trying to get you.
Yep. And sometimes he wins, and you have that second Monster Energy drink.
Well, the name's right in the title.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, then we got the 7 heads and the 10 horns, right? Usually interpreted as, and this is popular interpretation, as representing various earthly kingdoms or powers that Satan uses. Some connect the 7 heads to 7 world empires, Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, and a future empire.
Yes, and that's where Hal Lindsey says that would be the European Union that was emerging when he was writing The Late Great Planet Earth.
Yeah. Yep. Now, I know, we're not to, on this show, we're taking stock in the more scholarly, cultural, linguistical interpretation, but yeah, pretty conspicuous that future empire is just blank. I'm just saying.
Because you could fill it in whatever you're mad about in your day.
Yeah. Or you could fill it in with, I don't know, yourself. If you're living in a certain country. Yeah. Anyway, talking about us, folks. But yeah, the 10 horns are often connected to a future 10-nation confederacy. This seems a little bit more cobbled together, though.
The 10-nation confederacy? Yeah, but again, that's where, again, Hal Lindsey goes into that as well, about, these 10 different countries that are going from everywhere, including Ethiopia and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. 10 kings mentioned, or 10 kings mentioned later in Revelation 17.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. But let's talk about this child being caught. But yeah, so the woman gives birth to, quote, a man-child. Not a man-child. A a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, right? So popular interpretation sees this as Jesus, the Messiah. The child is caught up unto God and to his throne. This, is Jesus ascending after his resurrection. So again, stuff that already happened.
Right. And the rod of iron is from the second Psalm, Psalm 2. So this is, again, John trying to say, like, Jesus is fulfilling the prophecies of the Old Testament.
Right. And the rod of iron, I think I remember, mention of Jesus in another verse where, it was thought that he was going to rule with a rod of iron, but it's like a rod of, I think, like gold or something like to represent peace rather than, like, authority.
Right. In the Gospels.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Which this book completely ignores.
Yeah, that is, again, like what Bart Ehrman says, is that as John is writing this, he is trying to bring back the Old Testament uniting, rather than like the Gospels say, like, Jesus is bringing a new type of covenant, like John is arguing, like, no, it's still the same covenant. It's still the same, that is filled with like violence and retribution and Old Testament leadership, right?
Remember the old days? Let's make Jesus great again. Yeah. But yeah, in popular interpretation, this chapter sort of like telescopes Jesus's entire earthly life, right? We got birth, ministry, death, resurrection, and ascension, right? In a single verse, right? The focus isn't on details of his life, but on Satan's attempt to destroy him and the ultimate victory of his ascension. Right. But what about that woman, right? She flees after the child is taken to heaven. The woman flees to the wilderness where God has prepared a place for her. She's fed there for 1,260 days, right? Familiar 3.5 years that we keep seeing.
Right. Half of 7.
Yep. Which is important because... And there you go. But yeah, so okay, what does all this mean, right? So popular interpretation, during the tribulation, the faithful Jewish remnant will flee to a place of safety. Many prophecy teachers suggest Petra.
Oh, I had not seen that.
Yeah, the ancient rock city in Jordan, where they'll be supernaturally protected for 3.5 years.
I would love to go to Petra someday. Do you know this is where at the end of The Last Crusade, that's where they film, that big cliff city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking place. Yeah.
Let me see. Hang on. Oh my God.
It's stunning.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay, this is I've seen this like time and again, like in National Geographic and in history books and stuff like that. And this is the type of thing where it's like, this almost seems impossible that this is in our world.
Right.
This is. I read about, like, Tolkien writes about this. I don't actually get to visit this. This doesn't exist, right? Oh my God, yeah, that looks beautiful.
It looks so beautiful. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, so it's this place that is like this. Yeah, it's the city. It's this piece of art, but it's also the citadel built into the side of the rock.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, give us a minute, folks. I'm just going to be looking at these pictures. Wow. Okay, Petra. Yeah, gotta go. Putting that on my bucket list, I guess. But yeah, so it could be Petra. People are thinking, right? It could be, and that would be future prophecy. That would be talking about, like, this is going to happen in the future. Or it could be talking about something that happened in the past. This is the early church fleeing Jerusalem before its destruction in 70 CE, or the Jewish people scattered in diaspora being preserved by God throughout history. So it could be any one of those things. Again, this right here is... I know we talk about, like, it's like, oh, the whole book of Revelation is like, it's a question of, like, oh, did this already happen or is it going to happen? This chapter is full of that stuff, right? From the fall of Satan to the woman fleeing the wilderness could be something that's going to happen or could be something that, that has already happened. So yeah, and either way, right, this wilderness is supposed to represent, like, a place of testing, but also of God's provision, right? Echoing Israel's 40 years in the wilderness where God fed them with manna. But yeah, but I can't stop thinking about this battle, right? Like, so we got Michael and his angels, quote, fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, right, and prevailed not. Right? So Michael the archangel, folks, right, mentioned in Daniel, and Jude.
Hey, Jude.
We got one for both of them. Leads God's angelic forces against Satan and his demons. This is this is the thing that everybody knows about, even though it's hard to find in the actual Bible, right? But Satan is defeated and cast out of heaven to earth.
Right? There's no hell
to
yet.
hell.
There's no hell.
Right? Yeah, along with his fallen angels. So again, popular interpretation also has trouble figuring out when this is happening, right? So this is pre-creation, some people say, right? Satan's original rebellion before human history. At the cross is one other interpretation that I didn't even think about.
Okay.
Right? So Satan is defeated through Jesus' death. So it's a parallel action thing. So Jesus gets crucified, and then Satan and the rebel angels fall.
Or like in one giant explosion, the way that creation explodes in that first sentence of the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Or not the first sentence, the second sentence, I guess. Right. But it all just boom, like this is all happening, in the milliseconds as Jesus is winning.
Right. Exactly. Right.
That's interesting.
Hashtag winning. Right. Or this is the other of the two that I was wondering about. This is the future, right? This will happen during the tribulation, right? A final expulsion of Satan from heaven, meaning that he was always up there until the end of the world. And that hell will be created.
Right. Well, there is no hell, right?
Or Satan came back and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" It's like, well, you left the key. I can still get, it's still under the heavenly doormat. I mean,
wait. This revelation is getting me so confused. We have a podcast on hell and the devil.
Yes.
There's no hell in the Bible, right?
Well, no, like in our second episode,
right?
we talked about like all the different words that get translated into English as hell.
Right.
But there's a lot of
So if John is talking about that now, which I don't think he is, he would be inventing it. He's not quoting somewhere else in the Bible, right? Our version of hell is made by Dante and Milton.
Right.
Okay.
And they might have gotten it
from John. Right. Okay. Phew. Okay. Just wanted to.
I think. Well,
this is getting screwy enough.
Yes.
That I started to see what you're saying. Right. But no, there is no hell yet.
Right.
In 90 CE, there is no hell where Satan lives and all of that.
Right. There. Okay. Now I see what you mean.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Like where Satan is the fallen angel under there, having that council with Beelzebub and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So in the Bible there is a Sheol.
Yes.
There is a Gehenna. Or Hinnom. There is the outer darkness.
Right. And we have our abyss here.
And the abyss.
Right.
But that comes here. That comes in this book.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, before that Jesus said, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven."
Right.
But that doesn't mention hell.
Right.
So, yeah, this could be the origin of like Catholic fiery hell.
Yeah, a proto hell, right?
Yeah. Lake of Fire is in here.
Yes.
So yeah.
But so is a lake of stained glass that isn't quite heaven.
True.
Like, there's a lot of lakes.
Great Lakes. Yeah, a lot of prophecy teachers combine these. They say Satan fell originally, but he still had some. See, this is the thing that I was joking about. Was the third option is like or was the fourth option, right? Because we have this happened pre-creation. This is going to happen like during the end times.
Right.
And now this new one, this happened at the cross.
Right.
And then I made a joke like, he came back and he just used the key under the door mat. But that's what prophecy teachers are saying. They're combining these. They're saying Satan fell originally, but he still had some access to heaven.
Sure.
And this describes his final complete expulsion from heaven during the end times.
Okay.
That's it. I really mean it now. You get out of here, you old Satan. And give me the key. You don't get to have that anymore. And I'm changing the password. The password was YHWH. Now it's JESUS.
Ah, I like that. Yes.
Yeah, see?
In Bruce Almighty, when Bruce becomes God, he opens up his email at Yahweh.com, and it's like Yahoo. It's like Yahweh.
I like that. But yeah, so we got the accuser. He is cast down, right? This great dragon, identified with multiple names, right? That old serpent, right? Serpent from Eden, the devil. The word is diabolos, right? Which translates as the slanderer.
Okay.
Right? And I like that. I never thought of devil and Diablo being from the same root word.
As slander.
No. I mean, like Satan. What I mean is like Satan. We know where that comes from. Hasatan. But I never thought like, where does devil come from? DEVIL. And also, where does Diablo come from? Oh, they're the same. Like they come from diabolos. So if you say diabolos really, really fast, it can sound like devil.
Yeah.
And I have the thing that clued me in was if you read the Witcher books, it's a little bit more episodic, and there's a point where Geralt has to go and deal with this monster called a Djavol. And it's like, he's a Djavol. And you go and you see it, it's like, oh, and he looks like a devil. And I'm like, oh, okay. Diabolos, Djavol, devil. Aha. I was that just tickles me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I love the etymology you've been discovering here. It's very fun.
Yeah. But yeah, this devil, this Diablo, right, is overcome, and there's rejoicing in heaven, but then there's woe unto the inhabiters of the earth.
More woe. We had woe in the trumpets. I thought that was over, but I was wrong. Woe keeps coming back.
That Satan is his own thang, Keenan. He brings a whole new woe, right? But yeah, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. And of the sea. He's fuck those fish too. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. This is fascinating to me. So
I think the same. That was a really interesting line, yeah.
Yeah, Satan knows his time is limited. He's been defeated and cast down, and his final judgment is coming. This makes him more dangerous, like a wounded animal.
Right.
In popular interpretation, this explains the intensity of the tribulation period, right? Satan unleashes his full fury because he knows that he's running out of time. That, like, it goes against the whole idea of this battle being something that Satan thinks he's going to win eventually.
Right.
Reading Milton and, reading about, the battle in heaven and just like any depictions of the battle in heaven, Satan/Lucifer, he seems to have this idea like, I can win this. I can, I can become God. I can, dethrone God. And this one is like, he knows this is a part that he is playing. And it's like, it's my time now. It's my cue. I have to, like, I don't have much longer. I got to do like as much damage as I can because I am eventually going to be defeated. Right.
Well, John has already, I mean, maybe we lose this when we start thinking of him as the devil, but John has been depicting him as a beast of some kind and then as a dragon specifically, right? And so, yeah, your cornered animal idea is really interesting. That's so different from the other ones where we have him as being calculating and smart. There's no mention here in Revelation so far. Maybe we'll find some other verses of this where the devil is smart, right? Where he is clever, where he is he's scheming, right? Like that's in a lot of our later depictions where we say like Jesus is simple, right? In a positive way.
Like
pure and easy and like, right, not complicated, right? And childlike even, right? And the devil thinks that he has a one-up on Jesus because maybe Jesus is good, maybe he is pure, but I am complicated and I have, these radical ideas, right? That's our later depictions of him in Milton's time, right? And Faust as well, right?
And Faust. And like, I mean, talking about the temptation in the desert, it's like Satan coming at Jesus with like all these pyrotechnics and all these like philosophies. And I was like, hey, what about this? What about this? And Jesus always rebuking him with like very, very simple language with it's like, well, no, it says, thou shalt have no other God, do not tempt your God. It's like, there it is. That's it. Right.
But Jesus doesn't have the cunning of Solomon or something like that. Right. He just like, no, I have the seed of my faith and that's enough. Right. And oftentimes in those temptations, Jesus is basically saying the same thing over and over again, where the devil is trying to like weave and bob and say, like, what about this? And what about this? And what about this angle? Right.
And I mean, we talked about this in our Chernobog episode, but that was, and I think Walt Disney himself, or maybe it was, what was his name? The guy who hosts
Fantasia, Deems Taylor?
Deems, yeah. Was talking about the idea of, we got Chernobog / Satan's music, and it's the full orchestra.
Right.
It's all of this complicated, intricate, look at what the woodwinds are doing, look at what the brass is doing, look at what the drums are doing, look at what the strings are doing, just like all of this stuff, just like, intertwining and coming up into a climax and just doing all of these like audio backflips and just amazing, feats of sound.
Right.
And then it is defeated by human voices singing the Ave Maria. And I've always glommed onto that. Whenever I'm writing a villain, whenever I'm watching a story where the villain is defeated, I always watch out for the villain is smoke and mirrors, complications, poetry in motion, all these intricate parts, all this planning, all this plotting, and then the thing that defeats him is the exact opposite of that, which is just like simple purity, simple goodness, right? Love or something like that. And, I'm a sucker for that. And boy, I would really like the end of the Bible to be like that. But no, I think you were going to say this is the exact opposite.
He's an animal. He's a force of nature. Like, is he worse than the storms that we've seen so far, or the earthquakes, or the meteors, or any of those things? Not exactly so far. Maybe we'll get to that later. But this depiction right now, he's an animal. He's a beast. He's a dragon. And it's like personifying this idea that people who lean on their faith often talk about, right? Like this, it's going to get worse right before it gets better, right? Like you have to endure this terrible stuff, and it is seemingly awful and getting worse because your faith is working. Like you are getting through this and you're getting closer to the end of it, right?
So okay, I don't mean this to be irreverent.
Okay.
But it's going to sound that way, but this is like Rufio and Peter Banning.
Sure.
And they're exchanging barbs, and both of them are really good. And then finally, Robin Williams tops him, and all Rufio can do is be like, "You stupid man."
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
And so this is the devil, and this is like a centuries-long exchange, like chess game between Jesus and the devil, and Jesus. Yeah, and both of them are playing just like expertly, and it's just like, oh wow, I didn't know that you would do that move, and oh my gosh, this is we've got Machiavelli over here, and I don't know, good Machiavelli over here.
That's right.
And then finally, Jesus, does like a little, it's like check, not checkmate, it's check, and instead of being another like classic devil, it's like, well, Jesus, we're not so different, you and I. He just flips the table or he just flips the board, and he's like, freaking, and this is the dragon.
Right. Yes.
Huh. Okay. All right. I see. So he has his smoke and mirrors has fallen away, his disguise, and now we see that he is just destruction personified.
Yeah, I think it's a super interesting idea. Doesn't square with the other depictions of the devil in the New Testament, but
no.
Right. No. But it's interesting.
Yeah. This is. The snake am I? Well, let's see how snake-like I can be. Doesn't sound like Jafar. I can't do it, Jafar. But he's going to persecute this woman, right? So persecutes the woman who gave birth to the male child, right? She's given, quote, 2 wings of a great eagle to fly to the wilderness where she's nourished for a time and times and half a time, right? Another way of saying 3.5 years, right?
Okay.
1 year, 2 years, half a year, right? So the eagle's wings, right? This is, from Exodus chapter 19, verse 4, right? I bear you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself, right? But then the serpent spews water like a flood to sweep the woman away, but the earth opens up and swallows the flood. So again, popular interpretation sees this as either like literally like, this woman fleeing and, Satan, the dragon, sending an actual flood after her, right? Or it could be armies pursuing, either Israel or a fleeing remnant that are destroyed by natural disasters, right? Or it could be symbolic, right? Satan's attacks being like propaganda, persecution, lies, right? And they are thwarted.
By God, yeah.
By God, yeah.
Okay.
Right? But Satan can't get this woman clothed in the sun, so he's going to go after her offspring. Right, so frustrated, this dragon, quote, went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ, right? So in popular interpretation, if the woman is Israel, then her seed or offspring are either believing Jews during the tribulation, Christians, right, spiritual children of the promise, or both. Socrates, right? All who maintain faith in Jesus during the end times.
Right, sure. And again, like John is trying to tell people who are pretty sure that they're going to die off, like Moses and Miriam and Aaron, right, in the wilderness, and they're not going to be able to see the second coming, that it's okay.
Yeah.
That the dragon might destroy you and you might not last, but it'll happen, soon.
Yeah. Satan wages war against anyone who keeps God's commandments and testifies about Jesus, right? But his time is short. Okay, so that is the popular interpretation. But as we know, John was writing in a time, and in that time, a lot of stuff was going on. He was talking to actual real churches in the beginning, and he could be talking about actual real things in the rest of this. So let's take a look. Chapter 12 is where Revelation's mythology gets explicitly cosmic, right? But it's not just about spiritual beings, in some ethereal realm. John is using cosmic imagery, again, to explain the earthly conflict between empire, capital E empire, and faithful witness, right? This chapter shows that the persecution Christians face from Rome isn't just political. It's part of a larger pattern of opposition to God's purposes. Crucially, it also shows how the opposition is overcome, not through violence, but through witness and martyrdom. So John sees, quote, a great wonder in heaven, right? And one of those words is semeion, right? And semeion is a sign, something with symbolic meaning, right? So already it's telling us, right, this isn't a literal woman in the sky, but a symbol requiring interpretation. So some of these things are already metaphors, and we're going to take it as such. But this is literally John saying, no, I saw like a symbol in the sky, right? So the woman is, clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, upon her head, a crown of 12 stars, right? This is royal imagery, but also cosmic imagery, right? She's clothed with the sun, right? This is the greatest light, representing glory and dignity. The moon is under her feet. She stands on the lesser light, showing authority. The crown with 12 stars represents the 12 tribes of Israel, connecting her to God's covenant people. So who is she? Not Mary individually, though Mary participates in this reality as the mother of Jesus. The woman represents the people of God, right? Israel with God, right? Not the nation of Israel, but the people of God, right? The faithful community that brings forth the Messiah.
So Israel is in the state of being with God.
Exactly, right? So the 12 stars kind of point this to us. She's connected to the 12 tribes, the covenant, but she continues to exist after giving birth. So she's not just one person; she's the ongoing community of faith. She's she's pregnant, and she, quote, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. Right, krase odinaus. This imagery of labor pains is actually used throughout Scripture for times of trial and transformation. In Isaiah chapter 26, verse 17 to 18, Micah chapter 4, verse 10, and especially Isaiah chapter 66, verse 7 through 8, where Zion gives birth to her children. The faithful community labors to bring forth God's purposes into the world. So, for first century readers, this woman represents their community, the people who maintain faith in God despite persecution, who labor through suffering to bring God's kingdom into reality. For people today, she represents any community committed to justice and truth, laboring through the difficulty to birth something new into the world. And then who is this great red dragon in opposition to this? Another sign appears, a, quote, great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, 7 crowns upon his head. On his heads. So the dragon is red, puros, right? This is the color of blood, violence, and slaughter. It's the same word used for the red horse of war in chapter 6.
6?
6. Which, that's fascinating to me, Keenan. You would think, okay, devil equals red because red equals fire. But really, devil equal red because red equal blood.
He loves it.
He loves it. And then we got, 7 heads, 10 horns, right? 7 crowns. This is, like without the metaphor, this is like scary, gross. This is monstrous, right? Yeah. Even Dante had 3 heads for his Satan.
Right. Well, when you start to add math here, like where are these horns on these 7 heads? That's where it gets real scary.
Yes, that's always been like my OCD just perks up, and I was like, it should be 7 heads, 14 horns.
Now we got remainders.
Yeah. But yeah, later in verse 9, John explicitly identifies the dragon, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, and we use archeos, kaluminos, diabolos, Satanas, right? So this is the serpent from Eden, the adversary, the accuser, the slanderer, right? But I think this is the important thing. John is using this figure to represent something very earthly. The 7 heads and 10 horns are not arbitrary. They connect to capital E empire. In chapter 13, we'll see a beast from the sea with 7 heads and 10 horns. Oh my God, there's more math. So it's 14 heads and 20 horns.
20 horns.
Should be 28 horns. I'm just saying.
I think you get the same remainder, yeah. No, you get the remainder plus 2. I don't know.
Yeah. But no, folks, this clearly represents Rome. In chapter 17, an angel will explain that the 7 heads are 7 mountains, right? So not even outside of the Bible, not even outside of this book of Revelation, is it revealed, no, this isn't a monster with 7 heads and 10 horns. This is Rome's 7 hills and its 7 kings. Right? We gave up the ghost in the same book. It's not even, you don't even have to go anywhere for it. Right? But yeah, that comes later. But yeah, so this dragon is simultaneously, the spiritual reality of evil, right? Opposition to God, right? The source of accusation and violence, right? And the earthly manifestation of that evil in capital E empire, right? Rome's oppressive system that demands worship, uses violence, and persecutes God's people, right? Yeah. So John isn't like separating, spiritual and political. He's showing that they are connected. Rome's persecution isn't just political. It's part of this cosmic pattern of opposition to God. But Satan isn't just some like distant spiritual being. He manifests in the violent, oppressive systems of empire. So you could say the devil is real in as much as evil is real.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, for contemporary readers, this is important. The dragon in any system that demands ultimate allegiance, uses violence to maintain power, persecutes those who refuse to comply, right, is very real. Oppressive political systems are manifestations of evil. When we see systems crushing the vulnerable, silencing truth tellers, demanding absolute loyalty, we are seeing the quote-unquote dragon at work. The dragon's tail, quote, drew the third part of the stars of heaven, right, and did cast them to the earth. Again, more apocalyptic imagery. Stars often represent angels or authorities. A third of the stars falling suggests a significant defection or corruption. Popular interpretation sees this as, again, Satan's original rebellion, taking a third of the angels with him, right? But there's another way to read this. In Daniel, chapter 8, verse 10, a, quote, little horn, representing an oppressive king, grows great and casts down some of the host of heaven and some of the stars. This represents the king's persecution and destruction of God's people. The stars are not angels, they're people. They're the faithful.
See, that helps me because, like, if we're thinking that this is the battle in heaven, which is all over the place when you're looking at what people are saying, it's ignoring kind of the symmetry that this has of these other cataclysms have destroyed a third of the people on Earth, a third of the trees who live, a third of the fish in the ocean, right? So now it's saying a third of the stars are gone because of this sail, but it's saying like this is some other thing, like this is like we're using the exact same terminology, but we're describing something else. Don't worry about it.
Right. This is talking about angels, not talking about people. All the other stuff has been talking about people, but this is about angels.
And it's also talking about something that happened in the past. And now this is saying this is all part of this series of cataclysms that have come out of the trumpets and come out of the breaking of the seals.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
so I like
that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah. So, the dragon casting down a third of the stars could represent empire's ability to corrupt or destroy a portion of the faithful community, right? Not everyone remains faithful under pressure, right? Some accommodate, some compromise, some are destroyed, right? The dragon has real power to harm. And then this dragon stands before the woman, quote, for to devour her child as soon as it was born, right? Again, we're going back to Pharaoh ordering Hebrew baby boys killed in Exodus, Herod's slaughter of the innocents in Matthew chapter 2. Empire always tries to destroy threats to its power at their most vulnerable moment, right? And that's important. They're most vulnerable. I'm hearing a phrase now being said as kind of like an explanation for why things are so bad right now. Like things were bad and things keep on getting worse, but they're like unimaginable now compared to, I don't know, like, you turn on the news and it just like every day it seems to be like some fresh new hell, right? Like, it makes me think of the phrase, like, what fresh hell is this, right? And every single day is like, well, it can't possibly get any worse. And then it gets worse the next day. And some people are addressing this and they're using the term extinction burst. Have you heard this term?
No.
I'm going to try to get it right without just kind of like by hearing about it and hearing people explain it. From what I understand, it's the kind of like the dying breath, the last hurrah that a dying entity gives up before they are completely gone. And that could be talking about like, a single animal, like a cornered animal, like we're talking about here, right? With the dragon. It could be like the last efforts of a dying species, right? Or it could be the behavior that a group, like a group of people or an empire, exhibits right as they are about to fall, because they know their time is limited. And they're kind of using this as like a comfort for today, because, you know, there's a lot of people who are afraid and they're wondering what's going to happen. And so some, I guess, political scientists or like would-be political scientists are saying, hey, this is, you know, this seems really, really bad, but this is actually an extinction burst. And that's because they know that, you know, their time is up. And so they're trying to do as much damage as possible. And yeah, it's going to get, you know, worse before it gets better. But that's because they know that they don't have a lot of time left.
Yeah, that makes me think of like the end of the French Empire, like in Algeria and other places in sub-Saharan Africa, where some of the, you know, there was always a lot of, you know, terrible things happening in Haiti and the Caribbean and that kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of the really things that felt really terrible, and then like people were saying, this is some of the worst stuff that's happening at the end of the French Empire. I don't know if that's literally true, but that's sort of how it feels. Yeah, because it's like they're desperate to try to hang on to, you know, Indochina and Algeria and, you know, places like that. Yeah.
So yeah, extinction burst. People look that term up. That's been kind of like in the zeitgeist for a while, and it is like just kind of like coincidental that, you know, we're reading about this dragon who knows his time is short, right? So yeah, so for first century readers, this is their story. Rome tried to destroy Jesus, right, through Herod, through crucifixion. But for any age, this shows the pattern, right? Oppressive systems try to destroy movements before they can fully develop, right? Attacking them at their most vulnerable points. Now, this woman gives birth to a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, right? But notice, the word rule here is poimienen, right? Which actually means shepherd. So the rod of iron isn't for like beating, but for protecting the sheep and breaking the attacks of the wolves, right? So this is shepherd king imagery, not tyrant imagery, right? The Messiah will shepherd all nations, protecting and guiding them, breaking the power of oppressors, right? And then, you know, and her child is caught up unto God and to his throne. That word, harpazo, means to snatch away, to seize, to catch up, right? This is Jesus' ascension after his resurrection. He was taken up to heaven and seated at God's right hand.
Okay.
Right. Now, notice what John skips, the entire earthly ministry. So very noticeably skipped John.
He's born and then he is crucified,
Yeah, right? So all the teachings, all the miracles, the crucifixion, right? Though that's, you know, implicit when we say caught up, you know, after the death and resurrection. John telescopes Jesus' life into birth and ascension because he is making a specific point. The dragon tried to devour the child, but the child was caught up to God's throne. Empire tried to destroy the Messiah through crucifixion, but resurrection and ascension followed. The dragon failed. The Messiah is now enthroned, right? So again, this sets a pattern for all people who follow him. Faithful witness even unto death, followed by vindication and resurrection. The pattern we saw with the two witnesses in chapter 11, killed by empire, but resurrected and vindicated. This is the Messiah's pattern, right? This is how victory comes, right? After the child is taken to heaven, the woman, quote, fled into the wilderness where she hath a place prepared of God, and that they should feed her there 1,260 days. So again, the wilderness is where God's people have always been tested and sustained, right? Israel wandered 40 years in the wilderness, fed by manna. Elijah fled to the wilderness and was fed by ravens. The wilderness represents a place outside of empire's control, a place of testing, but also of divine provision. The woman, the faithful community, must flee from the dragon's persecution. But God has prepared a place for her. She will be fed or sustained, nourished for 1,260 days, right? The familiar, 3.5 years, right? The broken time of trial, right? So for first century readers, this was their reality. They had to flee persecution, meeting in secret, gathering in homes outside official structures, surviving on the margins of imperial society. But they were sustained by each other, by the Spirit, capital S Spirit, by the promise of vindication. The wilderness wasn't necessarily a physical desert, but any place outside of empire's direct control where the community could survive, right? For us today, right, this speaks to the experience of any resistance movement, right? When you refuse to accommodate oppressive power, you often have to operate on the margins, outside official channels, in alternative spaces. You you're in the quote-unquote wilderness. You're vulnerable, tested, seemingly weak, but there is provision there, right? Communities of resistance sustain each other. The wilderness is where transformation happens, where identity is forged, where dependence on ultimate truth rather than empire's structures and creature comforts is learned.
Mm-hmm.
Now, John describes, quote, war in heaven, Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon, right? The dragon and his angels fighting, but prevailing not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Michael the archangel, named only here in Revelation, though he is mentioned in Daniel chapter 10, verses 13, 21, and chapter 12, verse 1, right, as the protector of Israel, and also in Jude chapter 9, contending with the devil. But here is the only time he's named in Revelation.
Okay.
Right? And he leads the forces of heaven against the dragon. Right? Again, this beautiful cosmic war story that we've become all too familiar with. Right? Now, when did this happen? John uses past tense. The war happened. The dragon was defeated. He was cast out. For John, this is accomplished reality. The cross and resurrection defeated Satan. Colossians chapter 2, verse 15 says, Christ, quote, disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by triumphing over them in him. John chapter 12, verse 31 has Jesus saying, now is the judgment of this world. Now will the ruler of this world be cast out. So if we look at the original Greek, this is past tense.
Right.
So the war in heaven represents the spiritual reality behind the earthly events of Jesus' death and resurrection. What looked like defeat, right, the Messiah crucified, was actually victory. Satan's accusations were answered. His power was broken. He was cast out. But notice, the battle continues on earth. Satan is cast down into the earth, right? The war in heaven is won, but now the conflict moves to the earthly realm. This is where the faithful community must contend with the dragon's rage. So, quote, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So now a voice proclaims, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night, right? So throughout all of this, John keeps on referring to him as the accuser, right? Which I think, for this whole show, we've, I think I've said is my favorite version of the devil, right? The prosecuting attorney, right? But
the one who can be over your shoulder and convince you of your own evil.
Right. But also but also kind of turn to God and say, this is why, he doesn't deserve your love, God.
Or why humanity doesn't deserve your love.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. But, okay, so what is Satan accusing us or them of? In the Roman context, the accusation is treason, disloyalty to empire. Christians refuse to worship Caesar, refuse to participate in the imperial cult, refuse to give ultimate allegiance to Rome. Empire's propaganda says this makes them dangerous, disloyal, antisocial, atheists, right? Because they won't worship, Caesar. So they're atheists. So Christians are atheists because they won't worship Caesar.
Right.
Right? So they're enemies of civilization, right? They are the enemy within. Yeah. But Satan could also be accusing the Christians of not being good enough Christians, right? You claim to follow this crucified Messiah, but look at your sins, your weaknesses, your compromises. You're hypocrites. You don't deserve vindication. There we go. That's my devil there.
Yeah, part of that is what John is saying in the letters in the early chapters, right? Like, this is your problem in your church here, right? This is Philadelphia's problem, and this is Smyrna's problem, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
But then the whole rest of the book is saying the opposite of you don't deserve vindication, is you can vindicate yourself.
Yeah.
Or else why am I writing the letter?
Exactly. There's no hope for any of you. Love, John. Yeah. But how do we overcome this accuser, right? Whether he is accusing us from Rome's throne or from the devil's throne, right? Quote, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. Right? So again, this is the answer for how victory happens. They overcome through three things: blood of the Lamb, right? Not through their own violence, not through taking up swords, not through causing death, but the sacrificial death of the Lamb, of Jesus, right? The Lamb who was slain has already won the victory, right? That's the last of the blood that needs to be shed, right? His death exposed empire's violence, broke the power of accusation, and demonstrated a love stronger than death, right? They overcame by participating in that pattern, by trusting that victory. That's one way. The other is through their testimony, through speaking truth, maintaining their witness, refusing to stay silent, right? Again, the word marturia, right, means testimony, witness, right? And it's also where we get the word martyr, right? So they overcome by continuing to testify to the truth about Jesus, about the Lamb's victory, about empire's lies, and about God's justice. Their witness has power. And yeah, remember, they loved not their lives unto death, right? They didn't love their lives so much that they were willing to compromise and save themselves. They were willing to die rather than deny their testimony. This isn't suicidal. It's saying that truth and faithfulness matter more than self-preservation. They followed the Lamb's pattern all the way to death. So for first century readers, facing the choice between saying Caesar is Lord and living or saying Jesus is Lord and dying, this passage says that maintaining truth is more important than staying alive. But yeah, for contemporary readers, this is challenging. When facing systems that demand compromise, that threaten your livelihood or your status or your acceptance if you speak truth, this passage says, don't love your life unto death. Speak truth anyway. Maintain your witness. Trust that the Lamb's pattern of death and resurrection is how victory actually comes. You might lose everything. You might lose your job, your reputation, your relationships, your security. You might be like Job, right? You might face figurative or even literal death, but that is how the accuser is overcome, not by accommodating, not by compromising, not by using empire's tactics, by faithful witness unto death. So yeah, folks, right? Remember, the dragon's time is limited, right? Empire's power is temporary. Satan knows he has been defeated and his time is running out, which makes him more dangerous in the short term, right? He unleashes his fury precisely because he knows the end is coming.
But like, again, arguing that the empire is temporary, that can be very tricky, I think, for a first century audience to hear, where, again, Rome is to be the entire world as far as they see it, right? And to have existed for hundreds of years means it's existed always, right? That can be a very difficult, idea to convey, and that's maybe why the metaphor is helpful of the cornered animal, right?
Yeah, because we talk about empires rising and falling, and we have now, in our classrooms and our history books, enough, we have pages and pages filled with, the rise and fall of this empire, the rise and fall of this empire. But yeah, in first century, what else is there beyond empire?
Right.
But yeah, for contemporary readers facing oppressive systems, this is both a warning and encouragement. I like to think of it as encouragement, right? When you speak truth to power, when you resist empire, expect it to lash out with fury. Why? Because it knows at some level that its time is short. Every empire eventually falls. Every oppressive system eventually collapses. The dragon's rage is real and dangerous, but it's also a sign of desperation, right? Remember we were talking about extinction burst, right? The fury is intense precisely because defeat is already assured. So there you go. In popular belief, this describes a war in heaven where Michael defeats Satan, casts him to the earth. The woman, Mary or Israel, gives birth to Jesus, who is caught up to God's throne after the resurrection. The woman flees to the wilderness, right? Maybe like Petra during the tribulation, right? Where she is protected for 3.5 years. Satan, knowing his time is short, persecutes believers who maintain their faith in Jesus. It's about literal spiritual warfare at the end of end times persecution. Down. Right. But actually, this is showing the cosmic pattern behind the earthly conflict between empire and faithful witness. The dragon represents both spiritual evil and imperial Rome, right? They're not separate. The woman is the people of God who labor to bring forth the Messiah and his movement. The dragon tried to devour the child, right? Empire, crucified Jesus, but the child was caught up to God's throne. Right? He was resurrected. The war in heaven shows that the real victory has already been won through the cross. Satan / the accuser is defeated, but now he's cast down to earth with fury, knowing his time is short, so he persecutes the community. Here's how they overcome him: by the blood of the Lamb, trusting in Jesus' sacrificial victory, by the word of their testimony, speaking truth to power, and by not loving their lives unto death, willingness to die for what they believe in, rather than compromise. The woman flees to the wilderness, right? The community survives on the margins outside of Empire's direct control, sustained by mutual support. The dragon makes war on, quote, those who keep God's commandments and have the testimony of Jesus. Anybody maintaining ethical faithfulness and truth-telling, right? For people in any age facing oppressive systems, the cosmic battle is already won, Empire's time is short, and victory comes not through violence, but through faithful witness, even unto death.
Yeah, well, that's our first glimpse of this devil-beast combination person. But he's back. Don't worry, folks.
Oh, yeah.
He continues on.
We got some Blake paintings here that I want to, we didn't even talk about these Blake paintings.
Yeah, I would recommend actually, I don't know if we want to say this on mic or not, I would recommend that our next episode be just about the Blake paintings. Because I think they're worthy of them. Or maybe that's after the next one, because the next one, the Blake paintings still have the number of the beast is 666, so that's the next chapter.
Right, and the beast from the sea.
Right, so maybe we do, maybe after the next one we do a Blake episode.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, Keenan, what did we think of this chapter?
It is confounding. It is a lot of imagery, kind of, exploding out of your brain all at once. But it's some of the most fun ones, yeah. Yeah,
some of the most fun. I didn't realize how formative this is to creating the character of our devil.
Yes, yeah. Like, Revelation is the most devilly book of the Bible. And now we're in the chapters where it is the most devilly within Revelation even.
But you also made a really, really good point talking about how uncharacteristic this devil is in relation to the rest of the Bible. He's not scheming. He's not smart. And I think that's why I never paid a whole lot of attention to this book of the Bible. I was like, it's like, where does the devil show up in the Bible? And I was like, oh, the Gospels. Oh, it was like the temptation in the desert. Okay. Oh, Job. Okay. I know about that. But it was like, oh, and in Revelation. And I'm like, but he's a big dragon.
Right. That's what you said at the beginning of this. He's just a dragon.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of dragons.
No.
They're extinct.
Exactly. Everybody knows dragons are extinct, idiot. King Arthur killed the last one. No. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, we got more devil coming up.
Oh, yeah. Right? Don't you worry. But yeah, folks, this has been another episode of The Devil's Details. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can summon me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Keenan Diaz, and you can invoke me on Letterboxd and Instagram as Howdy Keenan.
Yeah, find more of our shows and other really cool podcasts at truestory.fm, or you can drop us a message at bananaforscale mail, that's MAIL, @gmail.com. We got our Facebook listener group, Banana for Scale. That's a community for all of our shows, including this one. It's a private group, but just request to join, and we'll let you into the infernal family. If you want more, consider joining us at truestory.fm/join and look for Banana for Scale. That's us. You get bonus episodes of all our shows, access to our Discord, and you get your episodes a week early and ad-free. Pretty cool, just $5. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? We're not even asking for your souls. Just give us a 5-pentagram rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to our show. That and sharing the show by word of mouth or on social media is going to help our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. All right, folks, until next week, love and hisses. Mwah.